Hey, and good Wednesday morning, everybody. Almost forgot what day it was. How y'all doing? Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with the weather report here on your November the 19th, 2025. And for those who've clicked on that icon, want to know about the winter weather hype, I want to address this before I do my normal weather brief today. I normally go right into the weather brief and stuff, but yesterday was a prime example of why you folks out there, maybe you're not a subscriber, maybe you're one of my regular viewers, on why here's where you need to be, because there was so much winter weather hype yesterday that it just blew my mind. And the problem is with the American GFS model, which is a model I don't typically use or even look at very much, maybe for comparisons, because it's just a bad model. The European model is a global model. There's two big ones out there: the European and the American GFS. And the European does such a much better job. But I wanted to show this model from yesterday. This was yesterday's run, showing this big snowstorm coming out of the south, coming out of the Midwest, and big old Arctic plunge coming in here. This big, huge storm blowing up in here. And everybody on social media was going crazy with it. Now, I've been doing this a long time, and I know when I see something like this, it's out of the ordinary and wasn't there on another run, it's there, that's probably a bunch of garbage. Because when I show you the overnight run, and you see it now, oh, look, wow, it's gone. There's nothing there. Okay, so just again, a lesson learned for you guys out there. If you want to get a no-nonsense weather guy who's not going to sit there and jump at the first dang gum model, it's going to sit there and scream and yell and call it the storm of the century, big blizzard, travel headache. Just stay away from that garbage out there. There's enough of that out there. So again, I appreciate you guys checking us out. Now I'm ready to get into my normal weather report here. But I did wanted to go ahead and show you that for you guys, just to show you how that thing radically changed big time. And that's why I do not use the American GFS. I stay with the European, which, by the way, is still staying consistent. We're going to dive into that day here in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about our weather forecast off my soapbox there as we go into yesterday's highs and lows. Saranac Lake, New York was the cold spot at 1 degree yesterday. And the hot spot typically, as it is this time of year, Rio Grande Village down in Texas at 93 there across the country. So we got a couple things we got to get into here for today as we're looking at, you got on the wrong map, here you go. Got some pretty decent rains moving through the New York City area here. We're going to show you that on radar here in a second. Got some rains back here in the southwest, a little unsettled here in the northwest. But really not looking bad over the next few days. We got a little bit of severe weather potential. We're going to watch today here across Texas. We were talking about this last week. Still on the low end. I still think there's a chance it might get upgraded a little bit, but not really looking too bad out there. Just not as robust as what it was showing last week. Now, current Washington warnings, just a lot of fog. We got fog all over the place here. You can just pick your poison where you want to get it. You got fog all over. I got even out here in the west, so we got fog all over the place. Here's some of that heavy rain across Texas and across portions of Arizona here for today. All right, talking about that rainfall up into New York. There it is right there. Good downpour coming through New York City right now. A lot of New Jersey getting some pretty good heavy rains as well. This will quickly move on off the shores. Things should begin to improve there across the New York City area there as we go through this morning. Now, let's talk about the hurricane season briefly. I just pass on this, let you know, nothing out there. We're counting it down, 11 more days left in hurricane season, and still nothing out there. Looks like we're going to end with the M storm. Melissa as our last name storm. Hopefully that looks like that'll hold. All right. Now, let's talk about today's weather problem areas. Okay, we're talking about the thunderstorm threat here. Again, we're talking about marginal risk here in the green. So we're talking Tulsa, Norman, Dallas, Abilene, Midland, all in this green area here for today. That's where our thunderstorm, we've got a general thunderstorm threat back over to the southwest and parts of Texas, obviously. Let's go ahead and break it down by the category. Let's see what it shows there. Is the tornado risk running 2% here across portions of Texas here. Abilene, San Angelo is in this as well. And we'll look at your wind threat here. Obviously running low, about 5% in the brown. And let's see if we got any hail threat with this. Yeah, a little bit there, running in the brown as well, running about 5%. So not looking bad. May get an update from the Storm Prediction Center to see if we upgrade this to a slight today. We'll see. I think it's borderline at best right now. So that's your day one outlook here. Let's go look at day two. Just a general thunderstorm threat right now across portions of the southwest, getting into Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, back through Texas. And then day three, we kind of shift this over into the southeast, including Georgia, the Carolinas, back to Louisiana as that storm system begins to move on off here. It's a weakening system, not really that strong and dynamic. We're still waiting for the big one to kick out. That'll be going in next week with the change in weather pattern coming at us. All right, let's talk about excessive rainfall. That will be a bit of a problem. We have to watch that as well. Go back to our day one here. Again, we're looking at the southwest. Texas especially is going to be under the gun here. This is today. Watch tomorrow's. Boom, we got a bigger one there across Texas, into Arkansas, into portions of Missouri, and marginal here. Got a little bit here on the west coast here is Los Angeles as well. But that's about it for your day two. How about day three? Kind of move this up into portions of Kentucky, with West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, and of course a little bit here in the southwest. So there's where your excessive rainfall problems are going to be. But obviously, there day two will be the big problem area there with the yellow area. Though I'll show you some of the rainfall totals in there. Some pretty decent ones here from Arkansas back into Texas. All right. Let's go get into the model data, shall we? Let's go ahead and talk about that. We're first going to take a look at the NAM. We're going to be looking at the 6 kilometer, the latest and greatest, hot and off the presses here. So go check into this, and we'll see how things are progressing here over the next 60 hours. This is a 60-hour loop here, and a couple of not any really big weather systems out there. A decent one coming out of the west coast, going into your Thursday, moving inland there, and then you see that system finally kicking out of Texas there, going into Friday. So. Again, we're going to look this back on through here again for today. One system exiting here off the east coast. Here's our next one coming on the west coast. We're waiting for this upper level to kind of kick in. Look at all this rain here across Texas and into the middle of the country going into tonight, into your Friday, or going into Thursday into Friday. So look at Wednesday today. Not bad here for today. You see a few thunderstorms in there, but going into Thursday, boy, a lot of stuff as this thing kicks in Thursday. Quite a bit. So this is going to be very active here. Weak system up there across the Canadian border coming to the northeast, and then there's our upper level. This one here that's falling behind this one, that's the one that's going to be a little more engaged. This one kicking out here is a weakening system. You'll see it on the European here in a second, but it's definitely a weakening one. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the rainfall amounts. Again, this is 60 hours. Again, that right there across Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri. Coming back in toward Texas. So it's lining up decently where that excessive rainfall threat was going in for tomorrow, especially. So we're talking rainfall over 3 inches in some spots here across Oklahoma, for example, and down here to Texas, also showing close to 3 inches as well. So, yeah, pretty decent rains in there. Got some rains out here on the west coast too. Not bad, decent, but nothing that's excessive. And of course, we got a little rain here across the northeast we're dealing with this morning, but not bad here for the next 60 hours, taking to Friday at 1 o'clock. All right, let's talk about those temperatures. Again, it's cold in the northeast. It's been cold up there. A lot of the south's going to continue to stay warm as you see those yellows, but we're really going to be trimming back and beating back into those yellows and oranges here, especially as we go toward the end of next week. We're going to see a big change in that as that comes our way. We're going to get some cold air to finally come on down, and there's a substantial pattern change taking place. So when I show you the climate outlook, you're going to say, well, it's calling for this. I still think either today or tomorrow we'll start to see those changes, especially in the east, as it's really starting to favor a big negative North Atlantic oscillation here starting to develop here as we go into the month of December. But still not looking too bad with the cold. We're not really seeing a lot of blues taking over a big part of the country here over the next couple of days. It's going to be pretty warm, especially across the south. There are going to be some record highs potentially across Georgia, for example, Alabama, Mississippi, going in here for the next few days. And then we'll start to beat that back here as we go into next week. So let's talk about that big pattern change. Okay, let's talk about what's going on here first. Okay, let's talk about the first initial system that's kind of kicking on out. It's weakening as it goes into Friday. That's a little disturbance here. You kind of see that right there. That thing's kind of weakened. This is the big boy right here. You're going to watch this thing to kick on out. So as we watch one system move into the northeast, that kind of drops on through a little cool shot there. We wait for this next one to kind of kick on out. It's going to meet up with some energy. So we got two pieces of energy that are kind of hooking up here. One here and one here coming in toward Monday. And that's what's going to bring in that pattern change. It's going to bring in that cold shot. Here it goes right there. Boom. Coming in toward Wednesday and Thursday. So we got some, have to watch Wednesday. Obviously, a big old travel day that day. We might have some rains across the east we have to deal with here. Although it's not looking as dynamic as we're looking a little while, a day or so ago. Part of the problem is this residual high pressure, for example, here across the southeast that's there. It's still been acting as a bit of a weakening mechanism here, like the system that's coming at us now across the southeast, and then this next one coming on in, it's going to do the same thing. Now, this is going to move in quickly. Watch this, folks. This is on Friday, moves on out, and look what happens in the east here. Boom, big warm-ups there. So going into Monday and Tuesday, we're going to see another quick warm-up here. Here's another low, but look at this high that's forming out here off the west coast. This is massive. Okay, you get a high building like that, you know you're going to be bringing some stuff down out of Canada, and that's what happens here on the end of this run. If this thing holds true, I mean, you're really looking at a couple things I want to point out. This is on the edge of the screen here, but I'm seeing a high here, and it looks like another stronger high here off the coast. So this is a little bit of, I don't think this is a blocking pattern. I still think this will kind of move on out, but boy, we're setting up for these cold shots to start coming down here in December. And of course, when you get this, and this looks like it's what I call a neutral phase. It's not really negatively tilted. And I'm not sure if we're really kind of tapping a lot of Gulf moisture with this thing just yet, which we definitely need if we're going to get some decent rainfalls out of this, especially areas that need it. All right, so let's look at your next 10 days. Got a 10-day snapshot here as we kind of watch the storm systems come on by here. All right, so not a whole lot. Again, we got this initial rain here this week. We'll slow this down here. Across Texas and moving into areas of Kentucky and the southeast. This moves on out quickly. Then we got that next system. We got to watch the next one. This is the one pulling out here, waiting for that energy to come out of the Rockies. All right, that's our next system. And this one pulls on out. There it goes. So this will have to be watched next Monday because there could be some severe weather with this. We know how warm it's down there in Texas, so we have to watch that for next week as well. So maybe some severe weather that day as well. Then this kicks off to the east. It's just not that robust, not as bad as it was showing yesterday. This kicks off to the east, and then we wait for the cold air to come on down south. And boy, is it coming down south because you can see the 5-4. This is our freezing line. So we got the cold air coming on down here across the east. And really going into the Thanksgiving week holiday, going into that Friday, it's just cold in the east, and we got another storm system out here on the west coast. So again, I think we're going to be in store for a more progressive pattern, colder weather for sure. It's just timing up when we get these decent snow events, because right now the snowfall is not all that impressive next 10 days. Now looking at the rainfall here, this over the next 10 days, very impressive here across Texas and in toward portions of Kentucky. 3-4 inches, even Texas showing up 5 inches here. The southwest got some decent rains. Northwest getting some decent rains. The high plains not that much, and neither is the northeast. So southeast getting a little bit, but boy, we could use a lot more than that. Our lake levels are getting really bad down here in Georgia right now. All right, now as far as the snow level forecast, again, this is the latest one right here. Not that impressive. This is 10 days, 10-day forecast. The mountains seeing some spotty activity there up across portions of Maine, getting some portions of Maine. It's not that impressive right now. But look at Canada. Wow, we're getting some good snows up here. Again, eastern, we're really starting to build the snowpack up here across Canada. And also Alaska, too. Alaska's starting to see some more as well. I didn't take it all the way out to the end of its run. The end of the run really was pulling in Alaska big time. If I was to take this all, I'd go and take it all the way out. Why not? Let's do it. I'll take it all the way out. Look what happens in Alaska. We're really feeling a lot of Alaska here. Look at Anchorage. Woof. Talking feet of snow here, man. 67 inches, 105 inches. Ouch. Just really getting bad. So we're really starting to build a snowpack up there in Canada. Again, that's important to track when we're talking about cold weather intrusions and things like that. All right. Now let's go and track the cold air here. I want to track this again. I'm sorry I didn't reset this for my local update. So let me reset this for you guys. Again, kind of going into this upcoming weekend. Again, not looking at any major cold. Pretty warm here across the south. Here's your Friday. I mean, you're looking at a lot of 70s and 70s. Got a little bit of cold up here in the northeast, but really not that bad. A lot of 40s in the Ohio River Valley, and really not looking too bad there going into the weekend. So that's your Saturday, I should say, your Saturday. And going into Sunday, again, big part of the country still looking pretty mild. 60s in Missouri, 50s, I mean, just not overly cold. But again, we're going to wait for that change next week. So as we go forward here, again, a lot of the east still warm. There's Monday. But notice the cold air showing up out here in the west. We're starting to get that cold air coming out here. And this is going to be spilling off toward the east here as we go in toward Thanksgiving Day. So this will start to spread. We're going to really start squeezing out that warmer weather. There, really starting to squeeze it. Here's our frontal system. Here's our cold air coming in here behind this, going into Thanksgiving Day. Again, holding on across the Carolinas, Georgia, the Gulf Coast, but really starting to chill things down here. A lot of 30s here in Ohio for afternoon highs here. Look at this, 30s and 40s, turning much colder. And then going into Friday morning, look how much of the country's seeing the blue there. So we got a lot more blue. And one thing I'm noticing with this cold shot, seeing single digits now starting to show up in here. So it's definitely a colder air mass coming down compared to the last one. It was cold last one, but it wasn't really getting down to the surface with some of those very Arctic cold temperatures. And then going into Saturday morning, look how much of the east here seeing temperatures below freezing all the way down into middle Georgia, Alabama, seeing the Northeast, a lot of cold air out there, right? So you're seeing this. I want to show you, the reason why I'm showing this, again, Friday and Saturday, because when I show you the climate outlook, you go, wait a minute, they're saying above normal temperatures. So I think that's going to change here, okay? So as I go ahead and show you the climate outlook here, this here is taking you out, the 10-day outlook, through the 28th, all right? So we already know the cold air is coming down the 28th, 29th. So I suspect this one here is going to change, as is this, okay? And what I think it's going to reflect is the cold air coming into the eastern third of the United States. I mean, we're getting it out there in the west coming, but I think it's going to start showing that change because that's what the European is showing. Precipitation chances, yeah, they're up a little bit, but not really that over the top. We're not seeing that dark green where you kind of worry about flooding and stuff. Probability of rain chances are coming up a little bit as the pattern becomes a little more progressive here across the country. So anyway, looks like we're in store. We're going to watch what happens on Wednesday next week. That's going to be important. Obviously, big travel day ahead. Thanksgiving Day, we're going to bring some cooler weather across the east. And but right now, not looking at any super major storms out there. No blizzards out there. God bless, that drove me crazy yesterday watching that stuff on social media. I'm like, yeah, no. Anyway, it's one of those things when you're a meteorologist and you've done this for a living and you still do it for a living. I still freelance at Fox 5 here in Atlanta, and I do some other stuff. And to see the folks who they're making money. I mean, they make money. I'm here I got my own Facebook page. I'm there to make money too, but I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity and stuff that's going to be over the top. If I wanted to do that, God knows I could, and I could probably make a lot of money doing it, but I refuse to. I will not do that. I'm sorry. I just can't. I couldn't look my colleagues and my fellow professional meteorologists in the face with a straight face and do that kind of crap. I'm just not going to do it. Anyway, all right, that's y'all's update for today. I appreciate it. You guys take it easy. We will see who's out there today. Oh, I forgot to say hello to folks here. We got Mick out there. Good morning, Mick. G-Bro, good to see you. David O'Keefe, good to see you as well. I appreciate you guys checking us out this morning. I do appreciate that. And we'll keep you guys straight. We got tomorrow being Thursday. We got Friday. We got 2 more to go before the weekend. And then we're really going to focus in on that travel week ahead, obviously, for Thanksgiving week and get you ready for December. Because I think December is going to be interesting. It's going to be a little fun to watch to see how things go out. But again, just beware of that social media hype out there, man. I'm telling you. And the 2 main culprits were at it yesterday doing it too, so you know who they are. I don't need to mention their name. So anyway, all right, we'll talk to y'all later. Be good.